Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it,
To apologize, it's too
when I did it, I was fucked up.
late to apologize.
I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy a bitch.
Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. They bitches too. Sean Combs is a bitch. Bitch. Yeah. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah.
You don't hit women when you're a man. You don't hit women when you're a man. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy a bitch.
Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah.
I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch or any other name like that. But I ain't gonna stop anybody else from doing it. I'm not gonna malign them. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Saturday morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So with that all being said, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes before we get into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. And you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so that all being said, let's get into it, honey. This is going to be a brief live because I have 1,000 things to do, literally. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about what Bill Maher said. Bill Maher was going in a joking manner, but going in nonetheless, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so before we get into that, let's talk about this situation with Trump entertaining the idea of pardoning Diddy. Okay, so how many of you, one's in the chat, how many of you, hey Claudette, hey Christopher, all right, Deronda, Sandra, Nessa G's in the house, Pretty Wings, Nene is here, Desmond, Jeff ATL. All right, Christopher, I see you, Witty T. Okay, let's get into it. Claudette, all right, that crazy bitch Aries, the hood reeler. All right, Nessa G. Shout out to everybody chatting, everyone tuning into the green. Y'all know I love me some Loyal Royals. And shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Aqua Girl Rising, Nicole S. Jones is in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get it started. Now, listen. Now, I want to address how many of you, first and foremost, one's in the chat. Hey, Khalid, we the people in the house. All right, one's in the chat. If you saw the YouTube short that I posted, one's in the chat. If you saw, hey, above all that drama, put a 1 in the chat if you saw the YouTube short that I posted last night about Trump, about my thoughts on Trump pardoning Diddy. One's in the chat if you saw it, please. Okay, thank you. So let's get into it, because a couple of people, there was like 2 people. One of them was Don Joe, and the other one was somebody named Ebony Eyes, who I'm not familiar with her. I don't know if she's been on the channel before. I don't know her. But Don Joe, I see in the channel sometimes. And I asked him if he needed me to drop the link. Because here's the thing. Hey, Chikari, Sunset Nights in the house. So let me say this. Listen, Belle is in the house. I did not ever say that Trump was absolutely going to pardon Diddy. That's what I didn't say. Now I want you all to listen close and pay attention. Because one thing about the Queen is I always choose my words carefully. And you know why I choose my words carefully? Because I don't like to spread misinformation. Okay? And somebody accused me of spreading misinformation. Now, I said, oh, he didn't say that. He said this and he said that. And y'all just heard what y'all wanted to hear. First of all, I don't hear what I want to hear. I hear what exactly is said. Okay. And then Don Joe asked me, when did Trump say he was entertaining it? I said, he didn't say he was entertaining it. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what entertaining something means? Because some people are slow. And then he says, oh, well, you know, he asked me something else, and he said, asking for a slow friend. Yeah, that's what he said. First of all, I can't remember the first thing that he asked, but I told him that he must be slower, that some people are slow. And then he says, well, when did he say he was going to entertain it, asking for a slow friend? I said, he didn't say that specifically. That's what I said. Okay, now does he not understand what entertaining something means? So let's get into it, okay? Because I'm about to take y'all to school this morning, because y'all not going to play with me. That's what we're not going to do. Y'all not going to sit up here and say, I'm giving no damn disinformation or misinformation. Because first of all, here's the thing. Here is the thing. My opinion can never be misinformation, okay? And neither could yours. When things are misinformation, that means you speak it as if it were a fact. So here's what we're going to do, because some people are slow, just like I said. Now, I don't give a damn who's mad, okay? I don't care who's mad. Now, let me see if this is the video right here of Trump talking. Hold on, because we're going to run it back, and then we're going to go to my video, and we're going to pay attention this time to what I actually said. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen. I think they actually show what Trump said on here, okay, in this clip.
Racketeering trial against Sean Diddy Combs is now in the books with his former personal assistant, one of them, under the student named Mia going under cross-examination for the first time in her testimony, her second day on the stand. While she was on the stand, she says that her trauma brain often wins over her logic brain. The former female assistant testifying, claiming she was physically and sexually abused by Combs. Today, Mia answered questions as to why she worked for Combs for so long and why she did things like make scrapbooks for his birthday, despite the alleged abuse. Mia saying, quote, "I was young and manipulated and eager to survive. I'm unraveling a lot of this now in therapy," she went on to say. She also said she thought making Combs a scrapbook would make him happy. The assistant also worked under Combs for 8 years, testifying she was sexually assaulted by the rapper just a few months into her employment and multiple times throughout the years she worked for him. The defense attorney suggesting at least 3 times today that Mia was making up the sexual assault allegations, asking her, quote, "Mr. Combs never had unwanted, non-consensual, forcible sexual contact with you. Isn't that true?" Mia answers, "What I said in this courtroom is true. I have not lied to anyone at all." Mia will be back on the stand for more cross-examination on Monday morning. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump making headlines outside of the courtroom, being asked for the first time about this trial from a reporter in the Oval Office. The president responding to a question that was posed to him on whether he would pardon Sean Diddy Combs if he was convicted of a federal crime. The president responding and saying he'd have to look at the facts. That does it from here from Lower Manhattan, the federal courthouse, on another week of testimony that is now wrapped up. Andrew, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Richard, we're about to play some of that sound in the Oval Office today. That question was asked by our colleague, Fox's Peter Ducey. So what is going on next when they get back to court on Monday? Who are going to be the witnesses next week? Do we know?
You know, we're not sure. Well, we know that Mia will be back on the stand on Monday. She has to finish up her cross-examination, and then the prosecution will have to call more witnesses. We believe more personal assistants will be called. Again, this is only week 3, and the prosecution, I believe, has at least another 3 to 4 weeks of witnesses. So there's a lot more to come out of this.
All right, Richard Jacob, it's always good to see you. Great reporting. We'll talk soon. Thanks so much. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Andrew. You too.
Right. In the meantime here, like we promised, if you didn't catch this live in the Oval Office today, our colleague Fox's Peter Ducey asked President Trump, sitting behind the resolute desk there in the Oval, whether or not he would consider a pardon if Diddy were to be convicted here. This was his answer. Let's listen.
But back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Okay, so wanted to let you listen to that exchange there. That was asked by Peter Ducey, and whether or not the president would consider a pardon of Sean Diddy Combs, with the caveat, of course, if he were to be convicted here. He essentially said he hasn't really thought about it. He's got to see the facts, but he didn't rule it out. All right. In the meantime here, still so many of these kind of gloomy live vantage points over the Big Apple. Still so much more to get.
Okay. So you all heard that, right? Now, you all heard that. Now, he said that he would consider and look at the facts. Is that not what he said? He said he would look at the facts or the evidence, right? He hadn't really paid much attention to it. And that some people probably want to ask. Oh, yeah, Diddy probably does want to ask, because at this point, he's desperate because he's going down like the Titanic, and he knows it. His defense team is also desperate. That's why they tried to made a motion for a mistrial the other day. But the bottom line is this. Now I'm going to go to the video of what I said. And I want anybody to point out where I said for a fact that Trump would pardon Diddy. Please pay attention, okay? Please pay attention. Now I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Shakur. Now listen, 47 has admitted that he's actually entertaining the idea of possibly giving Sean Diddy Combs a pardon. Now, months ago, when people were saying this, I thought it was absolutely crazy. I didn't think it would happen. And I, in fact, told them, listen, I know they used to be friends back in the day, but Diddy came out and said some things about 47 that I know he hasn't forgotten. And I know that he's one to absolutely hold a grudge, and he likes to get revenge on those who dare to cross him. So I didn't think it would happen. But then as it got closer to Diddy's trial, I started thinking, if there is a reason that he would give Sean Diddy Combs a pardon, well, that would likely be for one reason specifically. And that. Now, before I go any further, let me just point out that I specifically said he admitted he was entertaining the idea, and we're going to look up what that actually means when someone entertains something, okay? And I said if. Notice I said if, okay? Now that makes a huge difference. I never said that he would, but I said I thought to myself months ago, or about a month ago, that if. See, this is what people don't do. They don't listen to the context of the words or to what the person is actually saying. They only listen and then put it in their mind what they thought they heard. Because guess why? Because some people are slow. Some things go over some people's heads. This whole video was merely my opinion. Okay, that's what it was. And if you saw the actual video that I did on TikTok, at the end, I told people to drop me a comment to let me know what you think. Because the video is actually 3 minutes and 27 seconds long. But on YouTube, when you do a short, you upload it, you only get to hear 3 minutes. Okay, so the last 27 seconds was cut off. So with that all being said, please don't try to come for me. For those of you who are slow, okay, don't even try it. Now, I told you can disagree, and that's fine. We don't have to ever agree. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to get mad about your opinions, but nobody should get mad about mine either. And don't dare accuse me of spreading mis or disinformation when I was only voicing my own opinion. Now, I clearly said if, and I said that he admitted he was entertaining. Now, why would I say he was entertaining? Okay, why would I say that? Let's look it up. Didn't he say he would look at the facts and the evidence? And then he also said that even if somebody doesn't like him, if he feels like they shouldn't be in there, then he would give them a pardon. Isn't that what he said? See, he was entertaining it because he didn't say no. When they asked him, would you give Sean Diddy Combs a pardon? He could have just said no. And if he said that, that would have been the end of it. But he didn't say no. He said he would look at the evidence. That means he's entertaining the idea. Okay, but hold on. Let me just prove my point after we finish this video. Reason, in my opinion, is James Comey, the former director of the FBI. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what does James Comey, the former director of the FBI, have to do with 47, possibly giving Diddy a pardon? Well, let's talk about that. You see, first of all, 47 and he don't get along. 47 actually fired him. He also criticized him in 2016 about his handling of the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. And then again in 2017 about the FBI's handling of the possible Russian interference in the U.S.'s 2016 election, which was related to allegations of possible collusion and 47's campaign. Now, and then just about 2 weeks ago, there was a message that Comey posted to his Instagram and then deleted it, which was a message written in the sand with seashells. And it said 8647. Now, we all know what 47 stands for. 86, that basically means get rid of or remove. So, of course, 47 didn't like that. And in fact, he and his team currently have Comey under investigation because they took that as a threat. please pay attention. Now, I know you're probably thinking at this point, well, that all makes sense, but what does it have to do with Diddy possibly getting a pardon? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, out of the 6 prosecutors that are trying to convict Diddy of the RICO, one of them is none other than Maureen Comey. And who exactly is Maureen Comey? Well, that is James Comey's daughter. Okay, James Comey's daughter. Now, this is 47's arch rival. So this is somebody that he doesn't get along with, has had problems with in the past, and currently has under investigation. Okay, so please pay attention. With that being said, Maureen Comey and her team have worked so relentlessly to secure this conviction. And think about the implications of it. Now, if they win this case, this would be big for her career. All of them, because this is literally the trial of the century. Okay, it is very high profile, and we all know that people who work in DA's office, they usually tend to have political aspirations and ambitions. So, with that all being said, just think about her winning this case, big moment of her career, and then 47 just comes around the back door and snatches the thrill of victory right out of her grasp. Okay. Yeah, I think that's absolutely why he's entertaining the idea. And if Diddy is convicted, I think that 47 will absolutely give him that pardon just because he doesn't want Comey to win and he doesn't want Comey's daughter to win. Now, this is just my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong, but then again, I could be absolutely right. Please drop a comment and let me know what you think. Now, you saw the full version of the video because I showed you the video from Twitter where I posted the entire 3 minutes and 27 seconds. But if you saw it on YouTube as a short, you didn't hear all of that. So I'm sorry to say, where's the dis or misinformation? Because I clearly said I could be absolutely wrong or I could be absolutely right. Okay, so y'all need to sit down, honey, the one that tried to come for the queen, honey, because baby, what I don't do is sit up here and make up ish. Okay, and when I tell you something that's my opinion, I'm gonna let you know that this is just my opinion. This is not facts. This is just what I'm thinking. Okay, so people can miss me with it. Nicole says, I'd rather ask for clarity than accuse people of saying something they didn't say. Thank you, beloved. I absolutely agree. Okay, I absolutely agree. I just had to come on here and clarify it, honey. I wasn't even going to go live this morning. Panther Strike says, Queen, you always come with the facts. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay. Pink Flowers. Oh, I love that name. Says, Queen, you are absolutely right. Thank you, beloved. So, you know, at the end of the day, listen, we all know that Trump is vindictive and he comes for his enemies. I mean, look, now that he's in power again, he's even talking about having Oprah and Beyonce investigated because they campaigned for Kamala Harris. Now he's talking about they may have been paid. Now, y'all know that's petty. Y'all know that's petty. So at the end of the day, yes, Trump is petty enough to do something like that. Somebody had said, well, that would be a dumb reason to pardon him. Well, yeah, it just might be. But at the end of the day, Trump does a bunch of things that are dumb. Okay, so don't get mad at me, honey, for stating my opinion. I didn't tell y'all nothing was facts. Y'all need to sit down somewhere. The couple of people that came from me in the comments, honey, I had to let them know. And I told Don Joe, do I need to drop the link on my next live? Because, honey, don't talk slick to me in the comments and think it's all gravy. Because sometimes I actually have time to read the comments, and I had time today. Okay, that's the first thing I did when I woke up this morning. I had time today. Okay, just so you know. So anyway, now that we've gotten that all straight, and I have proven that I didn't spread no misinformation, I just gave y'all my thoughts and views on it. Okay, so anyway, with that, I've been saying, now let's talk about Bill Maher, honey, because Bill Maher went in on Cassie. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Did he say what I just thought he said? Now, he said in a joking manner, but at the end of the day, I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear this. Now, of course, I don't have permission to use this, so I will have to use an overlay. He said a few curse words on here, too, that I didn't really want to. Hold on. Let me see where I'm going to start it. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, I'm not going to play his whole little spiel, which is about 8 minutes, because somewhere he said the F word, but at least I'm going to try to go past that part. I don't remember where he said it. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to get to the part. I'm just going to play the part where he specifically says something about Cassie. Okay, he doesn't call her by name, but he does show her picture on his screen. And then he makes the comments. Now, as I said, I'm going to put it overload so you won't see the picture of Cassie. But I just want you out to hear what he said. Likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
Post-Me Too, reporting of sexual crimes is way up, as is the percent of women who say they're now more likely to speak out if victimized. And many states have changed laws, making it easier for victims to come forward. We're not in the no one listens to women or takes them seriously era anymore. Operators are actually standing by to take your calls. And I'm aware that it can be difficult to leave an abusive relationship. Most of what I watch on TV is the Lifetime channel. But this should be society's new grand bargain. We take every accusation seriously, but don't tell me any more about your contemporaneous account that you said to two friends 10 years ago. Tell the police right away. Don't wait a decade. Don't journal about it. Don't turn it into a one-woman show. And most importantly, don't keep fucking him.
Okay, that's the part I wanted to go past, but oops. Okay, so, but listen, you all heard what he said right then and there, right? He said, don't wait a decade. Don't tell your friend about it. Don't keep a journal. And most of all, don't keep effing him. Now, I actually have to agree with him on that. It's not funny. It's not really a laughing matter. But I absolutely agree with him on that. I mean, these people, some of them, and I'm not talking about Cassie specifically, I'm talking about people in general. All these people are coming out of the woodwork. And I have to ask, what made so many people wait so long? And then people say out of fear, but some of them, even if they were so fearful then, why aren't they fearful now? And then they went and filed civil lawsuits. Still didn't go to the police. A lot of these people are just telling lies, okay? A lot of these people are telling lies, in my opinion. We've had some liars on the show. Y'all already know it. There's been people out here just saying stuff. And we're going to talk about the juror, not the juror, but the witness, Mia, from yesterday. Now, I can't say whether she's lying or not. I wasn't there in the courtroom. Some of her stories sounded a little strange to me, but some people are saying that they didn't think the jury believed her or bought her story just from their reactions. And then also, they said they didn't believe it. Okay. And Armand had some things to say about her testimony as well. Okay, so with that all being said, let's continue.
Your only contemporaneous notes about what he did should be the police report. It's not victim shaming to expect women to have the agency to leave toxic relationships. Quite the contrary, to not expect that is infantilizing them. If Diddy walks free, it will be because his lawyers can point to an endless stream of texts from Cassie expressing what's often called enthusiastic consent to their sex life. If you're Me Tooing someone, it doesn't help your case if you texted him, "Me too. I just want it to be uncontrollable." If you want us to think you weren't always ready to freak off, don't write, "I'm always ready to freak off." Or wish we could have FO'd before you left. You know, one sign you're pretty comfortable with something is when you call it by its initials, like Trump with KFC, or Johnny Depp. Or Johnny Depp with BO. I get it. Part of the allure of the music industry is you want to be a star. It's why someone moves to Miami from Kansas. It's why they built a freeway from Orange County to LA. It's why someone might run away from their small town pastor into the arms of Father Funk. And music is, to begin with, highly sexualized. Magic doesn't strike at the office. It strikes in the studio at 3 a.m. when you're high as a kite and horny as a youth minister and everyone is sexy as shit and you're...
Okay, I think we've heard enough. At the end of the day, the bottom line is he was saying a lot. And I was quite frankly a little bit surprised because, you know, typically people get canceled, or not really canceled, but people come out, you know, you sometimes get backlash for saying things like that, whether it's true or not. But the bottom line is, when he was saying all of this, he actually was putting Cassie's text messages on the screen. Okay. Yeah, that audience did sound like a laugh track to me, Charlotte. It sounded like a laugh track. But anyway, he was actually putting her text messages on the screen. And I didn't even realize that Cassie had actually used the words "me too." So he got him a little joke out of that. But the bottom line is, here's the thing. I don't think it's victim shaming when people point out obvious things or whatever. I feel like, you know, when you have people that come from decades ago, 20 and 30 years ago, making allegations, sometimes it's hard to prove. Even if you're telling the truth, sometimes it can be hard to prove it because you have a lapse of memory. Sometimes you don't remember every little detail. Sometimes the people who were there to corroborate your story aren't willing to, or they may have forgotten. And then, you know, when you get on the jury, not get on the jury, but when you get on the witness stand, as you can see, Diddy's defense is really, really good at poking holes in people's story. I know you all have noticed that they're really good at trying to twist the narrative of one's words. Now, from what I heard, the young lady that was on the stand yesterday, you know, it seemed like some people just didn't believe what she said. Now, I don't know if what she said was true or not, but at the end of the day, you know, my friend said it just seemed like some people on the jury, from the looks on their faces, didn't really believe everything that she said. So what I want to do is let's go to a couple of these reports about her testimony. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Oh, and by the way, they're talking about Diddy's prison duds are up for sale. This came out about an hour ago. You know, the clothes that he wore in Monsters Ball? Like, who wants to buy that? Diddy's prison outfit up for auction that he wore in Monsters Ball decades before current lockup. So in the film, Combs played a murderer 11 years before he allegedly broke into rapper Kid Cudi's home in a real-life plot to kill his love rival. The costume is worn by Sean Combs during the beginning to the middle of the film while he's in prison and meeting with his son and wife, Letitia, portrayed by Halle Berry. The outfit includes a short-sleeved white Hanes crew neck t-shirt, a light gray crew neck sweatshirt with cut-off sleeves, a pair of faded Glory blue jeans with one pant leg sliced off, and a pair of black canvas slip-on shoes. First of all, who do I think wants to buy this and why? Okay, maybe if Diddy wasn't where he is now in his current state. It also comes with a production customer's tag with insider details on the customer and movie scene in which it appears. The duds are a far cry from the orange monochrome jumpsuit that Combs is mandated to wear while he sits in the MDC. Combs' trial has been ongoing for more than 3 weeks, with the judge expecting it to last as long as 8. And on Friday, the rapper's former live-in assistant remained strong as she was laboriously grilled in the Manhattan court over her explosive accusations that the disgraced music mogul repeatedly assaulted her. She testified anonymously as an alleged victim of abuse, also claimed that her ex-boss threatened to throw her off a yacht because she took too long counting $1,000 in cash. She's just one of Combs' many alleged victims over his decades as an A-list celebrity, the most notorious being his ex-girlfriend and alleged hostage, Cassie Ventura. Combs allegedly sexually and physically abused Ventura and refused to free her from this toxic grasp, going so far as to plot to kill rapper Kid Cudi when he heard Ventura had moved on with him. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charges, which carry up to life in prison if convicted. Honey, I don't know who they think wants to buy this ugly art stuff that Diddy had on. Let me just show y'all. This is all so crazy. I'm going to share my screen real quick. If you all didn't see Monsters Ball, that was actually a good movie. Who wants to buy this? And how much is it for sale? Honey, they're not getting nothing off of that, I promise you. Okay, so only somebody that's just insane as far as I'm concerned. Somebody that's a real fan, and by that I mean a fanatic, okay? That's the only person that I could see buying that. I don't know why anyone would even want it. And so now with that all been said, so let's talk about Mia's testimony. Now, you know, they said there were some questions as to why, you know, because we weren't inside the court. We got the information that was put out while the trial was going on, you know, and then of course, after it's over, you have people coming out saying stuff, the people that were actually there in the courtroom. And, you know, some people were just talking about during the cross-examination that they were basically eating her up, Brian Steele. And which, of course, we could pretty much tell that, you know, we could see where he was going with his line of questioning. So they're basically saying that they don't think people believed that she was actually raped, because then you're out here posting stuff, you know, telling Diddy you love him and all this stuff, whatnot. And, you know, to some people that just didn't make sense. Okay? That just didn't make sense. And then Tasha K put out a video last night, or yesterday, I think it was. She put out a video, which I had already seen the interview, but she put out that interview on YouTube where Cassius Smith called out Capricorn Clark. If y'all didn't see it, go watch, because when I tell you that man is so darn messy, honey, I told you that man is messy. Okay, if y'all didn't see that, just go watch. It's on her channel right now. But his name is Cassius Smith, and he used to work for Diddy. He was like the head of Sean John's Designs or something like that. He dated Capricorn Clark and alleged that she was a rug mule for Diddy. Okay. And so, you know, it's very interesting. So I would advise you to watch that yourself if you have any questions. But anyway, so let's talk about it. Some of Sean Diddy Combs' ex-employees took a central role in the third week of his S-trafficking trial, including personal assistants who testified that the hip-hop mogul was capricious, controlling, and violent. The week began with Capricorn Clark, a personal assistant who was later a global brand director for Combs' company. She recalled witnessing Combs beating his longtime girlfriend, the R&B singer Cassie, and said he raged about wanting to kill rapper and romantic rival Kid Cudi. It ended with another ex-assistant, testifying under the pseudonym of Mia, who alleges Combs raped her during a torturous 8-year tenure working for the rap star. She's the second of 3 women expected to testify that he assaulted them. Combs has pleaded not guilty. So, of course, the trial resumes on Monday. Now, they say former employees of Combs' Bad Boy Entertainment described repeatedly witnessing him beat Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, but said they didn't report the abuse to law enforcement because they feared Combs would harm them. Here's the thing. I don't think it would have done them any good if they did report it, because, of course, Cassie would have to corroborate and be willing to testify, or at least give it a report of her account of what happened. And I just don't think she would do it. Because didn't her mom call the police on Diddy in 2016? So, yeah, she did. So, anyway, Clark testified that the day that she started as Combs' personal assistant in 2004, he threatened he would kill her if her previous work for rival rappers interfered with her work for him. Then she testified that she watched in shock as Combs viciously assaulted Cassie, his on and off again girlfriend, for more than a decade. In 2011, after learning she was dating Kid Cudi, Clark said her heart was breaking from seeing her get hit like that, and neither she nor Combs' bodyguard intervened. She said she called Cassie's mother and told her, "Please help her. I can't call the police, but you can." Weeks later, Clark said she reported what happened to Cassie to the president of Bad Boy Records. She also testified about her own run-ins with Combs, telling jurors that he kidnapped her at gunpoint and took her to Kid Cudi's house. Okay, we know the whole spiel. The bottom line is, do you all think the jury believes these witnesses? Do you all believe these witnesses? You know, I actually believe Capricorn's story. I actually believe Capricorn's story, but some of the jurors might be thinking, why did these people keep working for Diddy? I think that these people kept working for Diddy because, first of all, most people, not going to say most, but some people love to be around that lifestyle. They love to be around A-list celebrities. And then think about all of the power that Diddy had, all of the connections, the big names. I mean, getting invited to a party at Prince's house. Some people would never have that chance in their lives if they weren't around somebody like Diddy. And so some people don't want to give that up. They don't want to lose the, living in the limelight, meeting all of these other people, making these connections. And also, I'm not even going to say the money because I don't think Diddy was paying them that well, because like at least two of them said they're making like $50,000 and $65,000 a year. That's not even a lot, specifically if you're working for somebody like Diddy. So I don't even think it was all about the money. I think it was more so about the status and just being in that environment, and you just get to go on private jets and just leave the country whenever. You don't have to pay for it because Diddy's going to pay for it. Okay. And with the alleged commingled funds from the business, which he was using for personal expenses, according to two of the witnesses who are his former assistants. So, but some of the things that they said, if those things are true, you have to ask yourself, why would you sacrifice so much of yourself just to be in that lifestyle, just to be trying to make these connections? But also, a lot of them said that they felt they would be blackballed from the industry, that they wouldn't be able to work anywhere else. But here's the thing, they could get other jobs, but they wanted to specifically work in that industry. And why? Because that was their dream job for most of them. And they still wanted to be around these people and celebrities. That's what I think. But I just don't think I could have done it. Simone said, selling your soul to hang with celebrities. Yes, absolutely. Some people absolutely do it. Okay, some people absolutely do it. I mean, it's just like a lifestyle that many people only dream of, I would imagine. And some people are absolutely here for it. Now, I'm going to go to Armand Wiggins' video. I don't necessarily remember the timestamp, but I'm going to try to go to the part where he was talking about the young lady Maya on the stand. Now, I'm going to use an overlay because Armand did not give me permission to use his video, honey. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Give me a second to cue this. And shout out to Armand Wiggins, by the way. He's given full coverage because he's right inside the courtroom. Okay, so anything we miss, you all can catch on his channel. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this.
Eventually, inevitably, the show never came out. So the show was supposed to be on ABC. They were shooting a pilot for it. It had slightly got picked up, but something happened. It never came out. So I guess it really was ABC. So he threatened her, according to her, with the ABC gig, and that was her dream to really produce this show. And she said she felt like he was going to call Cassie and tell her about this they had, like she wanted to Diddy as well. Okay. So she texted Diddy back and said, I'm inside right now. Okay. They're putting a shirt on Cassie in a fitting. I'm in the room with a lot of people. I will pull her out as soon as I can. Give me an extra 9 minutes, please. And then she said, she just texted you. She just needs your tone to change, Diddy. Diddy said that, call me now. 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 He said about 5 to 10 times. Call me now. Call me now. Then he said, you know what? This. I think it's best that we don't ever talk again. Don't ever call me again. Diddy said that. I think it's just best that you never call me again. Hold on, call me ever again. And she texts back, I just woke up to a million calls. I was asleep. No response. So then we get into October 17th, 2015. She writes to Diddy, I bought my own ticket with my own money, but I wanted to make sure Cass was okay, but I can't handle or afford the change in flight, like the change fee. I love you, Diddy. Like, basically, can you help me? Like, do you really want me to come? Because it's a 35-hour flight. I don't really want to make that flight if I don't have to. Because Diddy said, you know what? Get on this plane and come home now. But she couldn't afford it because she actually ended up paying for her own flight to go with Cassie because she didn't want Cassie to be out there alone. This is what she's saying. Diddy didn't respond. So then she writes, hey there, do you want me to leave or stay with Cassie? Because Cass is upset. But I'm going to make sure I'm doing what you want me to do. Both of your happiness is my priority. She said that because if they said, well, why did you say that you wanted to do whatever Diddy wanted you to do? Why did you do that? She said, well, if I didn't do what he wanted me to do, I was afraid I would be, she's doing this looking down, stupid. I was afraid I would be fired or suspended. And I would felt like I would have been emotionally, physically, mentally, and verbally abused.
Common sense says life should be spent searching for meaning, not travel deals. Listen to your common sensei and book on dollar.com to get our lowest rates. Why are you in my house?
They said, well, why are you telling Diddy that you love him after he raped you? You telling him you love him in these emails and he raped you. She said, I had to tiptoe around him just to appease him. So she basically saying she had to tiptoe. She was still saying that she loved him because, you know, she had to do so. So when she got back from South Africa, they had removed her from working inside the house with Diddy. She actually ended up working at the corporate offices, right? So she wasn't around Diddy anymore because she wasn't working at the house. They said, well, how did that do for your job? Did it make your job easier? Did it make your job harder? What did it do? Well, she said it made my job really hard because I couldn't get the answers that I needed or I get the approvals if I wasn't right there. Also, I had a hard time gauging his attitude. And it made me feel defeated, incompetent. And like I was just ruining all of my relationships. And I wrote, ooh, she's great at using buzzwords. She said, I was mortified. All because she wasn't working in the office. No, girl. They were phasing you out or you were feeling away. So she was using good, big buzzwords, defeated, incompetent, mortified, scared. You know what I mean? She said she was just so mortified because the job was just so hard. Then they said, well, who was the part of HR? It was Basha. She was the head of HR, Tony Baez Fletcher, and Sandy. Those were all people that were a part of HR. So she says she got a letter. Or one time she said she got a letter, and I guess apparently the letter said that she had been suspended, but she had got suspended for oversleeping because she never slept for days. She's just so tired. She never slept. She was mortified, humiliated, defeated, depleted. Now we move to, so she was suspended. Now we get to March 31st, 2011. So apparently she was supposed to be putting out some clothes for Diddy, some workout gear, and it was supposed to be, she was laying them out. It really wasn't her job to do, but she was supposed to give Diddy some options to wear. I guess he was going somewhere with some workout gear. She was supposed to put the clothes out for Diddy, right? This is March 31st. They're just painting a picture of how she was overworked, underpaid, and treated like trash, and how he was just so mean to her. She was so fearful. They're trying to do the RICO and the coercion, the racketeering and the trafficking and all of that. She was so afraid. She was scared. She was getting beat up. She was getting all of these things, right? They said that Diddy cursed her out because he felt like she didn't put out enough clothes, enough options for him to wear. He said he screamed at her and cursed her out, "You stupid, dumb bitch." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "What happened when he screamed at you?" She said, "I don't remember, but it was violent." So you remember you didn't put out enough clothes. He screamed at you, cursed you out. You don't know what happened, but what you do know is it was violent. I don't know about you, but if I remember it was violent, I remember what he did to me that was violent. So you don't remember, but you know it was violent. Oh, okay. So I guess she had called James Cruz, the head of manager. And I guess he wanted he was a manager over at Bad Boys. And this was March 20, this was in March. He wanted some Kids Choice Awards tickets. And he said, "Well, who do I contact?" And Mia said, "I don't know. He's currently firing me right now." He said, "I talked back to him too much because he didn't like the workout gear he picked out. So now he's sending me home." So it was some workout gear. He didn't like it. He was getting fired. She said, he's psycho. He went shit crazy on me. She sent a message to D-Rock. She sent an email to the head of manager. She was just telling everybody, like, he's cursing me out. He's mad at me. So I said, basically, she was sending everyone emails venting about what happened with Diddy. So she was just telling everybody. She was so scared and afraid that he was just doing all this stuff to her. So then that day, she got a call from Basha. And it just said a letter, "You have been suspended without pay." She said, "Well, why?" This was March 25th, 2011. She said, because Diddy said so. That's just how it goes. Diddy said you're suspended with no pay. Gotta go. There's no documentation. It's no reasoning why. It's just you have been suspended until further notice.
Kids love coming to Pigtails and Crew Cuts because our salons were created for kids by parents.
Let's go.
After all of that, she still came back and worked for Diddy until 2017. They said, well, why would you come back after you were being cursed out and all this stuff? She said, well, I tried to leave, but I couldn't. She said, Diddy would have my reputation destroyed. I guess they went on a trip to St. Bart's. Diddy had chartered a yacht. Diddy told her, hey, I need you to count this money for me. She said it wasn't $100. It was way more than $100, whatever amount of cash it was. And so she said that Diddy told her, hey, I got this money. I need you to count this cash. She was counting too slow. And Diddy said, "Bit, what up? Because you counting so slow, you stupid, incompetent B." Then she said that out of nowhere, Diddy chased her outside all over the yacht. He was running behind her saying, "You stupid B, count the money faster." She said she was running all over the yacht, panicking, frantic, scared. And as he was running and chasing her, he told her, "Bitch, you better learn how to walk on water and get the fuck out, you stupid bitch." And so she said she ran towards the water because Diddy said you can't even count. So, bitch, I hope you can walk on water because you're going to get the fuck out, you stupid bitch. And he chased her out. I'm like, yo. I'm like, what? And so she said she ran and jumped on the third level of the yacht and just went and hid. She was in, like, I don't know, the workers' quarters, and she had hid because she didn't count and she didn't know how to walk on water. But one thing she did know is he told her, you got to get the fuck out. And she said, she tried to escape the yacht. She was on the third floor, and Diddy was climbing up the stairs, like the ladder up to her. And when she saw Diddy, she dashed into the crew cabin. And she actually had somebody drop her off. I think they were trying to take her to another boat, a tiny boat or a little island nearby. It was something like that. But once she left and got off the boat, she got a call. And Diddy had said, "B, you better come back." Plus, she couldn't go far because she had left her passport on the boat. But all she knew is that she didn't know how to walk on water. He told her, "Ho, it's a change of plans. Go to the car. You're going with me to Vegas. We're going to Vegas on a private jet. It's me and you." Then Diddy got on the phone with the head of HR, and according to her, was making up a bunch of false scenarios of what happened that day, saying that she didn't know how to count right, and she was moving slow, and she was doing that. And she said, He was saying, and she just kept messing up, and she was just her fault. Diddy was like, venting about how tough she was doing. And she said, well, Diddy, Puff, that didn't happen. I mean, what are you talking about? She said she kept trying to interrupt him and say, that's not what happened, but you told me to do this. You said to do that. And she said, Diddy said, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm not talking to you. And she jumped. Then passed the phone and talked to Michelle and said, you deal with her. Deal with her. And passed her the phone, talked to the HR, said, you deal with this B. And the head of HR said, just do what he says. Just do what he says.
Today, there's a unique way to harness energy with All Therapy Prime. It's an advanced treatment that uses...
Okay. In the fall of 2016, she talked to Brian. I guess Brian was the COO. I don't know if it was a COO of Revolt or whatever was going on, but he was in New York. Brian Offit. He was the COO, okay? Revolve Films is where she was supposed to be working at. Revolve Films. It's different than the other stuff they got. What is it? I don't know what he is. Revolt Films, not Revolve, Revolt Films. So it ended. And Diddy just was like, you know what? I'm over it. I don't want to do it. I'm moving on. We're doing different things. And this is just not in my wheelhouse anymore. We're not doing this. And we've decided that this is over. And they said, well, how did you feel in 2016 that Diddy ended things like that? She said, I felt betrayed, rejected, used, mortified, sad. There's those buzzwords again. So she was getting in her buzzword bag. Okay. She was in her buzzword bag. She said that's when she got an employment attorney, and Diddy got upset because she had went and got a lawyer. They did a 9-month back and forth because she felt like she was owed money because she had invested all this time. She had been working so hard. And she was unfairly, that part of the job was unfairly ended. Like she was unfairly fired and suspended and all these different things. Like it was an unfair suspension, unfair employment, firing. So she got a lawyer. They said, well, why did you do that? She said, well, I just got a lawyer. And it wasn't to like sue you, but I just got one because your team said I need to get a lawyer to figure out what I need to do. So HR told me to get a lawyer. And Diddy was like, you really want to try to get a lawyer? You want to get them people involved? And so the monetary proposal from her legal attempted to gain a settlement payment of $10 million. And apparently she mentioned some of the that he had portrayed toward her. Okay? They said she talked about some of the violence. No, she talked about some of the violence, but she never mentioned the SA. Excuse me. So let me say that again. So she went to an employment attorney to try to get $10 million. She mentioned him being violent with her, but she never mentioned that he lifted her. So they ended up getting a settlement amount of $400,000. She made $200,000, and she had to give the other $200,000 to her lawyers. The payment was for overages. The settlements would be, it was for overages and things like that, right? And so what I found was interesting about this whole situation, though, don't you think if I was raped, I would not just be talking about violence, but I too would be talking about the essay on the job. Don't you think that's probably how you could have got your 10 million? If he was just fingering you and finger popping you and standing up and putting it in your face and making you suck it, and he was sleeping on you and he was drugging you out and he was doing all of these things, don't you think you would have put that in the paperwork? But you didn't put none of that in the paperwork. You just put he was violent towards you.
Now, see, this is all interesting because we didn't get this yesterday from the updates that we were looking at on Inner City Press and CNN. And shout out to both of them because, we do get the information they put out, but of course they can't put out everything. So this is interesting. So she didn't put anything in the paperwork about the grape. You see what I'm talking about? Not to say that she wasn't, but that just makes it less likely for people to believe it, because that would be the main thing that you would have focused on, in my opinion. It's just like when Dawn Richard was up there and she talked about, she was mentioning some things when she spoke to the feds, but she never mentioned something about Diddy threatening to kill her, I think it was. And they asked her, well, you didn't say anything about that then when you had the interview with the feds and you spoke to them more than once? And then and they say your story's changing. She said, well, sometimes my story changes the more I remember, or something like that. But if somebody threatened to take your life, that is like one of the main things that would stick out in my mind. That would be the first thing that I would definitely remember. When she said Diddy told them that people come up missing. So it's just little things like that that I'm sure the jury is paying attention to.
So if that was the case, what are you asking for $10 million for? If you would have put that other stuff in there, you probably would have got your 10 million. That would have been the first thing I put in there. They said, would you return the money from the settlement if it meant that he would never had done the things he did to you? She said, yes. Diddy like, girl, shut up, you lying. She reached out to Diddy after Kim Porter's death and Andre Harrell. She told Diddy she loved him and she was always there for him. This is after the settlement.
3 signs your car accident is worth major compensation. If you've been in a car accident recently,
they also asked her, they said, hey, they said, so you still loved it? She said, yeah, I reached out. I still reached out to him because I felt so bad for him.
How could you feel bad for somebody who did those things to you? Somebody who literally took advantage of you, who raped you and all of that, who threw things at you and tried to harm you, who threatened your life. How could you feel bad for them? You should feel bad for yourself. And I know that people react and respond to trauma in all these different ways, but it just seems really crazy to me that all of these people were traumatized to the point that they couldn't stand up for themselves. Very interesting.
I felt so bad for his family. He was going through a lot, and I really cared. He was like my best friend. They said, did you know Cassie filed a lawsuit? She said, yes. Catch it. How often do you guys speak to Cassie? All the time. You do? Yes. Well, all the time and like sometimes. So either do you speak to her all the time or do you speak to her sometimes? When was the last time you talked to Cassie? Well, a few days ago. Have you talked to Cassie about either of your testimonies? Absolutely not. No. No. Okay. During that time, have you ever heard during the lawsuit time? This is now the the prosecution. Did you hear from anyone that spoke to Diddy? I believe this part. She said, yes, D-Rock. But I want you to really pay attention when we get into this, because this is very, 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 very important information here once we get into this. I need you to really get into this. They said after the Cassie lawsuit, she got a call from D-Rock or a text. He said, hey, what's up? D-Rock. She said, D-Rock, hi. How are you? I miss you so fucking much. I said, oh, you love D-Rock? Yeah, I did. I really, really, really love D-Rock. She said, D-Rock said, it's a lot going on. I'm about to call you. She said D-Rock called.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, guys. You all can catch the rest of it on Armand's channel. It's called the Armand Wiggins Show. And shout out to him for doing a thorough job gathering his receipts while he's in court. Now, with that all being said, listen, I just wanted you all to hear his take on it. And another thing that he said, I was multitasking while you all were listening because I already heard it last night. But I'm not sure if he said the part where, he was saying that he thinks that perhaps, I don't want to misquote him, but that perhaps she was upset about being fired. And that thing about the grape, maybe she had messed around with Diddy. Because remember on the stand, she said something along the lines of Diddy threatened to tell Cassie about it. And he was going to try to make it seem like it was consensual when it wasn't. Now, when I read that to you all yesterday from the updates that I was getting, I was wondering the same thing. I said, now I wonder if she was actually just messing around with Diddy behind Cassie's back. And that's why Diddy was telling her, oh, I'm going to tell Cassie. I was thinking the same thing. So I don't know. I mean, it did cross my mind. But yeah, so he was thinking that too. And so, at the end of the day, like I told you, my source basically said that some of the jurors, the looks on their faces when she was talking, it just looked like they didn't really believe her story in its entirety. I mean, we can't say, sometimes people may look a certain way for whatever reason, and that's not indicative of what they're thinking, but you just never know. So with that being said, honey, all I know is Diddy needs to go to prison, okay? Diddy, in my opinion, has done a myriad of nefarious things for decades and gotten away with it, okay? Gotten away with it. I mean, just think about all of the things that he's been tied into, from the City College incident to the shooting in the nightclub. These are serious things. And he was able to walk away unscathed. I mean, he didn't get canceled. It didn't cost him his career. He may have lost some money paying legal fees or if he had to pay any settlements or whatever. But at the end of the day, he really was able to walk away from things. The whole scandal with the murdering of Tupac. Okay? Diddy has really, let me get him off the screen. What am I thinking? He has really had a good life that many people would dream of, becoming a billionaire at a young age. I mean, he was in like his 40s, but that's still young. And also to have his own record label in his 20s, and then to have a clothing brand. He was living Biggie's dream. Okay, he was living Tupac's dream. Tupac got into acting before he died. I mean, that's what he was first known for most of the world, the movie Juice. But some of the people in Diddy's inner circle have said that Diddy wanted to be an actor because Tupac was an actor. And I believe it. because someone else in his inner circle also said that Diddy wanted a clothing line because that's something Biggie had aspired to have before he died. So it's like he took bits and pieces from the people that were around him to create the facade that became P. Diddy. That's just my opinion. And it makes me wonder when I watched that interview from Tasha K, Cassius Smith, when they have Tasha pointed out how they had the same mannerisms, he and Diddy. And then when she asked him, well, do you think Diddy got this from you or whatever? I believe that Diddy did. I believe that he took things from people, their mannerisms, maybe even their talking points, their style, and all of that. Because, hey, he started wearing Versace after Tupac wore Versace. So I just think that he took what he, and even from artists who sent him their demo tapes and stuff like that, some people have said that he kept their music and used it for himself. He signed artists who thought they were going to be entertainers and performers, but they ended up writing his lyrics. Whatever happened to 8 Ball and MJG after they signed to Bad Boy South? I never heard anything else from them. Have any of you? And it's just really sad when you see all the people that he worked with through the years. These people are now, some of them are broke and broken. Okay, not just because of a lack of money or never making it, to live out their dreams and aspirations, but also brokenhearted, broken in spirit, and mentally broken. Diddy has done detrimental damage to so many, in my opinion. And if nothing else, he absolutely deserves to be in prison for that alone, as far as I'm concerned. And they say that every dog has their day. Well, I sure hope that this dog named Diddy ends up in the doghouse. Some call it the big house. Okay? That's where he needs to be headed. And so, whether or not Trump pardons him, that remains to be seen, but I truly hope that Trump doesn't. Okay? I mean, he did say some disparaging things about Trump, and of course, Trump knows that. At the end of the day, we'll see how it all turns out, but I'm going to be staying tuned because this is all getting very interesting. This trial is so juicy. Okay, every week there's something new coming out. And I'm not even sure who's going to be testifying on Monday. Don't think I have that info yet. I think it's in my email. I haven't checked. But anyway, with that all being said, listen, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Enjoy your strong end, not the weekend. Pure Black said, yes, 8 Ball and MJG did one CD with P. Diddy. Yes, exactly. And then we never heard anything else. Okay. Real crazy. And let me say this too. The song Every Breath You Take that Diddy did in memory of Biggie after his passing, that took this date, I believe, it's his biggest bad boy hit ever. He monetized Diddy's death in more than one way. Okay, in more ways than one. Okay, so anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest next right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got